What is going on, YouTube world? I'm your brother Reza. This is Krtlyfe with the Y. Like, subscribe, comment, all those things. In today's vlog, I'm going to talk about how I finally resolved this strange rattling sound that was coming from our 2005 100 series Land Cruiser, and it's been doing it since the day that we bought it. And now I'm going to tell you how I solved it. So, backstory real quick. We bought this car 2-3 years ago, and since the day that we've owned this vehicle, it always had this strange rattling sound, but it would only do it when it was very, very cold and the car was cold, and it would do it like maybe the first 5 minutes of the trip, and then it would go away. So in my head, I was instantly thinking, okay, maybe it's a heat shield up under the vehicle, maybe it's some kind of thermal expansion thing happening with something around here. I didn't know, but it started getting really annoying. But it was so intermittent, and it would only really happen during the winter. Couldn't figure it out. Thought it was maybe our vanity Ukrainian plate. Well, that's actually a real Ukrainian plate. I thought maybe it could have been this grill, you know, a couple different things that I was thinking. And then one day it was doing it in the parking deck. I was going to actually show you that parking deck, but in my driveway, I don't know why I still say parking deck. And I was also thinking, since we don't have our antenna, maybe something happened on this side of the vehicle that was causing it to rattle. But alas, whatever it says, alas, it was none of those things. It was one other thing that I never checked before that was causing it to do it. So on this specific day, I was in my driveway, it was doing the whole rattling thing, and I was like, you know what, I'm about to put this car in park and figure out what is going on. So I went and got my trusty chalked my wheels. Now, I don't recommend you doing this unless you have, like, you know, a partner to help you, but chalk your wheels and do this at your own risk, and get somebody to sit in the driver's seat and put the car in drive, and the rattling will come back. And when the rattling comes back, what I did was I was like, where is it coming from? Is it coming from this area? Is it coming from under here or something? And it sounded like it was like a fender, or it sounded like the hood or something, or the whole bumper was just going, if you could imagine that. So I popped the hood. And when I finally popped the hood, to my astonishment, the rattling was actually coming from this plate, this piece right here, the vanity cover that goes on pretty much, I guess, every 100 series Land Cruiser that's probably ever made anywhere in the world. I think probably has this cover on it. And the rattling was literally coming from this, and it was so loud. This thing was shaking like a dying bird. It was doing like this, and I knew it was on tight because I was the last person to take it off, and I knew I put it back on. So all of these mounting points and screws up here, they were all on tight, but for some reason it was still shaking and rattling like crazy. So what did I do? So essentially what I did was three things. First of all, I took this rattling thing off, and I looked at how all these mounting points were meeting with this actual piece of cosmetic jewelry. And I was like, all right, clearly these mounting points aren't lined up properly. So I just took a little a channel lock, and I kind of like, I massaged the different mounting points until they all lined up perfectly with the actual cover. Then I took some little O-rings, and the places where I could, I put the O-rings so that there would be a little bit of like dampening to like kind of, I guess, stop the transfer of this if it were to rattle from transferring from the engine where the mount meets the screw and so on. And the other thing that you have to check is back here. I don't know if you can see that. You know what? Let me get my light. All right, got my trusty light. But anyway, the other things that you have to check is right here, and you have to make sure that this hose is connected to this little clamp right here, so that that also does not vibrate. Now, I think that in conjunction with this piece right here flapping like crazy was causing majority of my sound. And I also think that for whatever reason, at some point, somehow, my little vanity cover got bent, and yeah, somehow it was doing, but it was doing it since I bought it. So maybe at some point during service at Toyota, someone leaned in here and bent one of these different mounting points. Not really sure how it happened, but it probably happened. But after I massaged the different mounting points, made sure everything lined up perfectly, installed some little O-rings in between these points where everything connects, and connected that hose, crunk it back up, put it in park, and it did not vibrate anymore. And it's been about a month now since I've done this, and it has not vibrated since. And I finally resolved the mystery vibration that was coming from the front part of this engine. Like, it literally sounded like the whole fender was rattling when it would do it, but it was so intermittent, it was really hard to kind of like pinpoint what it was. But finally did. I looked this up on Mud, and I was like, well, have enough people had this problem for me to even address this and make a video? But apparently a lot of people have had this issue, so now y'all know what I did to resolve my issue. But in your issue, it could be something different. I mean, it could be a heat shield, it could be your catalytic converter, there could be a lot of other things that could be rattling under your hood. But in my case, it was this, and this thing was rattling like crazy. But it doesn't do that anymore, and I will actually crank it up and show you. So that's it. I'm your brother Reza. This was a quick one. Krtlyfe, the Y. Like, subscribe, comment, all that. I hope this video saves somebody else years of headache, because we have been listening to this thing rattle literally for years. And like I said, it was very quick. It was very intermittent when it would do it. It would do it for like maybe 30 seconds when it was cold, but it was still annoying enough that one day I was just like, enough is enough. I got to sort this out. And I did it. So I hope this helps somebody out. And yeah, I'll see you on the next vlog. Peace.